two full sets in it, which I thought was just amazing. So I always did like the Ultraverse stuff. He didn't have a whole lot there, but what he did have, he had, you know, in runs. So he didn't want to break up the runs just yet. And I can't say I fault him because, you know, if you're going to sell them on eBay, you might as well, you know, sell them on runs, make it easier for the collectors. But he did say that if there was a time when he couldn't sell them and they've had their time, then he could break it up and he would let me know. Savage Dragon ongoing series #1, such a good story. Shattered Image #1. I didn't remember if he had any of the others or not, but I did purchase it. And if you look on there, I don't see any of the Extreme Studios. So this is like all the other guys, you know, that were in Image and without Rob Liefeld in Extreme Studios, because they had that falling out. The Crow #1. I want to say this is second printing of the original Crow series that the graphic novel came out. This one he did charge me a little bit more, which is I'm fine with that because of what it is. Still that Magneto. Why did I buy that? Archer and Armstrong #1 with the Unity cover, and again I'll put that back in there. X Universe #1 and 2. This is from the Age of Apocalypse storylines back in the 90s. This tells what happened to what some of the other Marvel heroes were doing during the Age of Apocalypse and humanity struggle. Further Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, and I want to say this one where they go back in time, and I think the Cyclops and Phoenix storyline was that. I might be mistaken on this one, so if you know different in the comics, please let me know. I want to say the Adventures of Cyclops and Phoenix, where they travel to the future to raise Kate to, you know, their son Nathan. But this one was where they go to the past about 100 or 200 years, and they meet Mr. Sinister. Back then he was Nathaniel Exus, and you see these mutants when he was beginning his. He's like, you know, these mutants shouldn't exist yet. Eugenics just hasn't been that far along. You know, they're a generation or two early. That kind of thing. Oh, okay. So here we go. This is why I got the Magneto. This was one you could get if you ordered. I want to say it's the Fatal Attraction storyline. If you bought all of them, your retailer would give you one of these, and then, man, at the comic book store I used to get my comic books for, they were like, oh, you know, they wanted to charge you for these. I'm like, hold on, you know, and then they're like, oh, it's just a reprint book, you don't want it, you know, that kind of crap. And then the Magneto limited series from the 90s as well. Okay, so that's why I got the Magneto. He gave me some Arena magazines. I had some cards in there, and I don't remember this magazine at all, but I think he was telling me a little bit about it. It was like a magazine that was supposed to be like a pop culture thing. But you know what I'm going to do with these, I'm going to keep the cards, and I'm going to give the magazines to a buddy of mine. He's real big into gaming, so he might, you know, nostalgia to them. The Crow, here we go, some more Crow. The Crow Dead Time, 1 through 3. My big issue with these Crow magazines, because these came out about the time the second Crow movie did, was, okay, this was a story that should have taken 4 or 5 issues, but they cut a bunch of it out, and this one particularly didn't flow very well, and this one should have been 4 or 5 issues, and I had to read it so many times to kind of get the story to understand it. Okay. Crow Flesh and Blood was another story, another Crow story, and I had these comics when I was a kid as well, and he happened to have all 3, so, you know, I snatched those right up. New Force #2 and 3 and 4. Okay. Second Life of Dr. Mirage. This was a story I bought when this first came out, and I really enjoyed this one when I bought it, and I mean, I couldn't, just like, same with all Valiant, you know. So I'd get to the end, I'm like, oh my god, that's it? You know, I was such enthralled in the story. Shadow Man #0. I got this one because of the foil covers to go along with the Bloodshot and the, oh god, what was the other one I bought? Eternal Warrior ones. I think that was it, maybe? They're on the videos there, I can't remember. I want to say there was a Ninjak #0 that I need to get on because these were the Zero comics with the foils. They were such good stories that I didn't mind paying for the foil ones. I actually read those while I was in the comic store, you know, before I was like, okay, I'm gonna buy it. Ultra Collection, he did not have these. There was 5 of those. He did not have all 5, but I don't remember if I have this card set or not. But if I do, I might have scanned it in. If not, I'm going to scan these in and try to find that set. Alright, the Crow City of Angels, 1 through 3. Here we go. Again, this came out right when the movie came out, so this is probably an abridged version of the Crow City of Angels. And if you look on eBay, you can find, you know, if you look on YouTube, there's some stories where they edited the Crow City of Angels and added in some parts that they got from, I don't know, like storyboards, and, you know, they put some pictures in here, and they re-edited it, and, you know, it doesn't flow too well. I mean, the story flows, and it's a really good story, but, you know, sometimes you had black and white storyboards that you had to put in there, and sometimes you had to type in the text, you know, to get it such a better story than the movie ever was. Alright, Shadowhawk Special. Okay. Shadowhawk 2 #1. This was a gimmicky cover. And I remember one of the local comic stores had it like 2 weeks early, and they were trying to sell it for $30. And I almost bought it, but I didn't have enough money at the time, so I didn't. And I said, I'm glad I did, because I bought it new for like $4. So this was kind of neat, because if you look, you can see, you know, opening up this die-cut cover. So Jim Valentino, he really enjoyed his die-cut covers. So this one, the second story, I really liked because it introduced some more characters, you know, spin-off like the Regulators, and Hawk Shadow story. That's when it really became good. So speaking of Regulators, you know, here's their limited series. Did I miss anyone? I think I might be missing #4. Okay. Alright, New Force #1, New Shadowhawk #1, Shadowhawk 3. Oh, Shadowhawk Gallery. I want to say this might have been like the precursor to the Images of Shadowhawk trading cards. When I open it up, I'm going to look through, and if that's what it is, I'm not going to do anything with it. But if not, I think I'm going to go ahead and open it up and scan all these in and put those on there. Alright, almost to the end here. Get rid of this box. Alright, so Shadowhawk #1, again with the foil cover, and if you bake it out here, it says, "Who is Shadowhawk?" And a lot of those you couldn't back then, you had to turn it. And so this is the issue #1 for the first storyline. Okay. Cyberforce #0 and #1. Okay. The Brigade source book, which I enjoyed Brigade a lot. Interesting fact is I went to a Comic Con that some local guy, this is an interesting story, this was back 2004 I think, some local guy, you know, had a rich uncle, said, hey, can you sponsor a Comic Con for me? You know, I'll do this and I'll charge people this and you know, and stuff. And then, so his uncle said, okay, and he did it, and the guy was, I don't know what, I mean, he was not really a regular customer of mine, but an okay customer of mine. He was kind of weird, and he got these names in, and some of the names he got in was Dreamwave. So he flew Dreamwave down here to Tulsa for the Comic Con. Then at the last minute changed the venue, and I was like, holy crap. And he ended up giving me a free ticket for me and one of my employees. So one of my employees went down there and we met with Dreamwave, and then started talking to the guys at Dreamwave, and they were really, you know, thought we were just pretty cool. And I'll admit, back then I was pretty cool. So then we get down there, and then you know what? I'll do a quick flash. I'll post some pictures of that through here. So a few seconds of that. So anyways, one of the guys he brought down wasn't from Dreamwave, but he drew on Brigade, and I bought a piece of art of his original pencil page for like, and I think I still got it somewhere. I may have sold it, but I think I only bought it for $10. And then, so later on, you know, the Dreamwave guys, they are like, okay, you know, well, what do you do? And I told them, you know, about my store. And like, can we come check it out? I said, yeah, what time you guys done here? I'll come pick you up. And they're like, okay. So I went down, oh God, this story is amazing. So I went back to my store and said, guys, I got the Dreamwave guys coming in. I had some people pull all the Dreamwave comics, unbag them, unboard them,